a carbon copy of Game 2. Portland has a great first half. They pull out to a lead. The Warriors take over in the third quarter and control the second half, which they won by 24 points. And they have a vice grip on this series now with a 110-99 win in Game 3 and a 3-0 lead. That's the Czar, Mike Fratello, Brendan Haywood right over there. I'm Matt Weiner. Good to have you with us. 3-0 Dubs, another disheartening loss for the Portland Trail Blazers as the Warriors beat them for the 9th straight time in the postseason.
Can you see in the team's eyes when they know this team can't beat them and they're going to come back? And so what, we're down 13 at the half and they're playing great, and all of a sudden the switch goes. Draymond Green is an outstanding player. I mean, he's showing you, with Kevin Durant not being there, the series that he's had, just incredible. Triple-double again tonight. And he does everything. I mean, he's directing the defense out there. He's the guy that they start the ball off with in his hands, and they can run their splits and their cuts. He finds the open guy. He rebounds. He gets the big stop defensively. This guy has had some playoff series.
Yeah, Draymond Green has definitely been the engine for this game and in this series. He is the difference. I know Steph has the big numbers. He has the 37-point games and a 36-point game tonight. But the thing about Draymond Green that makes him so unique and what makes him so dangerous is that when you try to show extra attention to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, when you try to trap those guys and he sets the screen and roll, he is the best small forward or power forward in the league at playing the weak side 2-on-1, 3-on-2 game. He always makes the right decisions. He kicks the ball to guys for lobs, three-pointers. He takes the ball aggressively to the basket himself. And tonight he really looked like he got his confidence going. He was getting it done in transition. Give him a lot of credit. Draymond Green did exactly what he needed to do. And this didn't just start in this series. It started after the All-Star break when he decided to get himself in better condition and better shape, and now he's reaping the benefits of his hard work.
Would you say a little bit of what's come out here is delicate, I think, with how he handles the Durant situation? When he said a little bit too much during the course of the year this past season. You remember there was a little friction there?
Oh yeah, we all remember that, Coach.
Yeah.
And what he told him, we won before you were here. We'll win when you're gone.
Well,
and they still are.
And it looks like it. It looks like they could actually do that.
But tonight you saw him go up to the youngster after the youngster missed that dunk, and he was positive with him. He gave his encouragement about, hey, he missed the dunk too tonight, not just you. And the youngster comes back about a minute later and does dunking at the end of the fast break.
Right.
So Bell listening to his mentor, there's the leadership capabilities that he has.
And Dre got him the ball a possession or two after that play as well.
For that dunk on the fast break.
As if to say, go, this is yours. He was amazing. Third triple-double of the postseason, and the Warriors are now 28-1 all-time when Draymond Green posts here. And if you're Portland, once again, fairly or unfairly, you're going to look to your best two players. And he actually had some moments, but Damian Lillard has really struggled in this series. And through 3 games now, he is, I just had it in front of me, 15 of 46 from the field.
Wow.
That's Damian Lillard. He was first-team All-NBA just last season. He's a great player. What has happened?
I think it starts from the fact that the Golden State Warriors have cut off the paint. Damian Lillard cannot get down the lane and effectively make plays in the paint in this series. Only 2 field goals. Coach, I said only 2 field goals for Damian Lillard in the paint in 3 games. He is 2 for 11 in the paint. I know everybody loves the fancy threes and the step back threes, but basically the meat of your game is what you can get done in that painted area. If you're struggling to score in the paint, it's going to have a ripple effect and a trickle down effect on the rest of your game. Dame cannot get down the lane. He cannot get the easy layups to mix in with the tough threes that he normally hits. That's why he has been struggling in this series. Give all the credit to Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors defense. They have an excellent game plan of doubling him, building a wall so he cannot get down the paint, and then sometimes they'll switch it up and they'll just switch the screen and roll. So Dame is trying to figure out what's happening, what defense it is, but he looks a little perplexed and he looks a little confused at times.
He was just 1 of 7 in the paint tonight, 3 of 9 from three-point range. And it's a little bit of a combination of both, as Brendan alluded to, because sometimes they'll go ahead and blitz him out there. He has to get rid of the ball. Other times he's taking a really deep 3. We know he can hit those, but there's step backs, even a step back further than usual.
Before this game, he was blitzed 19 times on screen rolls. That's an incredible number. Like it was just one of those things where he was trying to figure out where do I go with the ball. And once you get blitzed like that, it has an effect on you. You start being hesitant. And now when they switch up the defense, you kind of get mixed and you get caught up in that area of when to go and when to make a pass.
And although he had 6 assists, he had 5 of their 11 turnovers tonight, Coach.
They've got him thinking so much right now of where are they coming, when are they coming. Anytime it's the last shot of a quarter underneath 24 seconds, Damian has the ball in his hands and they wait till it gets to about 11 or 10. Here comes the second Golden State guy saying, we're taking it out of your hands. You're going to have to throw it to somebody else to try and make a shot. And the other thing is when you go two-time a player, so many of the other teams, the normal teams, don't have the athleticism or basketball IQ that Golden State has. Damian's going up against pretty long, athletic guys, and you're saying he can't get down the lane because during the regular season, you don't have those same type of guys coming at him, so he can go by them once they try to jump out at him. He can't go by these guys. They keep him in front of him.
Yeah, how many times did you see Jerebko or Jordan Bell or another of the bigs out there on the perimeter causing him problems? And he winds up with 19 points tonight, but a minus 23, which was the worst number of any Blazer tonight.
This is the exact same defense that the Pelicans threw at him last year. He didn't solve it last year, and those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Dame is going to have to look at the film of the Pelican series last year and this series against Golden State and understand when he can pick and choose and find his spots against this type of coverage. Because guess what? When the playoffs come next year, somebody's going to run this exact same coverage back, and he has to have the answers at that point.
You forgot to mention, you mentioned Steve Kerr, you forgot to mention Rod Adams, okay, the defensive. He's the defensive guy for Golden State. So
you taught me something. I didn't know he was the defensive guy.
He's their defensive coordinator.
See, that's why we got you up here, Coach, to drop those gems. This year, Coach, this is going to be a sweep.
Well,
You think it's going to be a sweep?
I was wrong tonight in picking the winner, right?
You think it's going to be a sweep?
Yeah, I guess right now it could be.
Hey,
Well, it's
Jeremy,
interesting
you got a broom back there, man?
It's interesting because the Warriors are already without Kevin Durant, obviously, and Andre Iguodala didn't play much down the stretch because apparently he tweaked his calf tonight along the way. So he only played 17 and a half minutes tonight. The Warriors are losing bodies. They would love to get all the rest they could, obviously, for the NBA Finals.
Well, look, if it's a slight, if it's a...
we don't know the extent of the injury.
If it's a Kevin Durant type of tweak, that's one thing. But if it's a slight and they know that they're up 2-0 at the time and they're playing well when they're coming back, you let them rest. You know, you're going back home again.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the 22nd straight playoff series in which the Golden State Warriors have won at least one road game. That's a remarkable, remarkable number. You guys know what it's like. It's different on the road in the playoffs. It's supposed to be harder, right?
And especially against a team like Portland. Portland was one of the
great
best,
home crowd.
Yeah, one of the best home teams we have in the NBA this year. They score 14 more points per game at home in the playoffs. So they went out there. They normally get their job done at home, but they weren't able to do it against Golden State.
You could really see players on Portland's team that the stage was too big for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd be wide open for a shot and they'd miss the rim by 2 feet. That can't happen if you hope to win.
And that's the reason why they're double teaming their stars, because they want the ball to find those other guys.
Exactly.
And they don't feel that even though Myers Leonard had a great game tonight, Golden State doesn't feel guys like Maurice Harkless, Aminu, Myles Leonard. They don't feel those guys can hit enough shots to beat them.
Aminu's not a star, but he's been exceptionally quiet in this series so far. Myers Leonard was the hero of the first half, very quiet after halftime as well. The Blazers as a team they missed a bunch of free throws, 20 of 33 from the free throw line. Let's take a look at how it played out. Great venue, great fans there in Portland as Steph Curry and the Champs come to town to take on Damian Lillard. And the Blazers backs firmly up against the wall, down 0-2. Lillard to C.J. McCollum for 3.
It was looking good early for Portland. They started out the game on fire.
You know, even then though, in the first quarter, when they were good, it felt like at home maybe there should have been a little wider margin for the Blazers. They couldn't completely separate. It was in the second quarter when they really got things going. As you see, Steph knocked down that 3. And then Clay to Jordan Bell for the little baseline jumper, game tied at 29.
Happy for Jordan Bell. Hey, he was buried on that depth chart, but he kept working hard, and he's been ready when they've called upon him.
This looked like a story in the second quarter as the Blazers bench made things happen. They go on an 18-5 run. Evan Turner and Ennis Cantor doing what he can. And the minutes he's been being given along the way. He played just 7 of them tonight, had 7 points.
Yeah, but that bench didn't perform the same way in the second half down the stretch the way they did in the first half.
We're running Iguodala with the dunk. Portland's lead is 10. And then Lillard with the steal. And running the floor is Myers Leonard with a stutter step, but he gets it to go.
4 steps is okay.
Oh, that wasn't 4 steps.
Stutters.
Come on, coach. Stop being a hater. Myers Leonard was taking off on that play.
Myers Leonard getting just his 3rd start of the season, led the Blazers in scoring at the half with 13. Steph Curry misses or hits the 3 in the foul. That's coming up here. Actually, Seth Curry with the steal in the 3. Know your Currys. There's Scottie Pippen checking things out. Then it's Steph with the 3 and the 1. And this is about the time when the tide turned for Golden State. Leonard with the foul.
I want to pull Joe Borge up. It hit his hand, but the ball was out of his hand, so I guess you can't say the ball was part of his hand.
MVP of the game for the Golden State Warriors.
We may call Joe. We'll see.
Draymond Green came out and had himself a ball game, messed around, had a triple-double.
But it wasn't just the numbers. It was his
Impact all
energy. I mean, the rebounds do count as numbers, but his rebounding was phenomenal, pushing pace, getting them involved on the run, and finding everybody. Handoff to Kevon Looney for the layup. That's an 18-3 Warriors run. And they win the 3rd quarter. Surprise! Warriors win the 3rd quarter by 16.
They always win the 3rd quarter.
I know.
Oh, wait a minute, Quinn Cook.
To the 4th.
Hey, somebody call Steve Smith. I got to play for top 5 plays under the rim playoff edition.
Well, and Quinn Cook came out with back-to-back buckets. That made it a 6-point game, and then Steph gets going. Steph gets hot here in the 4th.
I mean, you can't do your little brother like that, man. That's like they're playing back in the backyard in Charlotte.
11 of his 36 in the 4th quarter. And the Golden State Warriors beat Portland for the 9th straight time. They are 11-1 all-time against the Blazers in the postseason. And if you didn't catch it, this is the 22nd straight postseason series in which they've won at least one road game. Curry with another 36-point game, and it's all champs, one win away from a 5th straight NBA Finals. Let's hear from Steve Kerr.
Hey, Coach, you got a broom?
As we're down 13 points in midway through the 3rd quarter, but it didn't seem like there was any panic from your team. What is it about this team in that moment that makes them just kind of go when they're down?
Well, they've got a lot of experience, and we've played a lot of big games, and we've been down in many games, by pretty big margins. So our guys know that we have an excellent defensive team, and we got some explosive scorers. So, 13 points could be 2-3 minutes. That's how we look at it. And but it all started with our second half defense. We held them to 33 points, and then we just got amazing contributions off the bench. Every single guy came in and made an impact. I could go down the list: Jordan Bell, Quinn Cook, Alfonso McKinney. When Andre went down, played huge minutes, was a plus 24 tonight. We needed Jordan's minutes big time. Jonas hit a big shot for us in the 4th quarter. And then I don't even know what to say about Draymond. I mean, he was like a wrecking ball out there. He was just destroying everything in his path. The pace that he was generating was incredible, and it just seemed like he never got tired.
Kerry Eggers, Portland Tribune. Steve, second half, was it just a matter of playing better, or did you make some adjustments? What was the difference?
Mainly just playing better. It's such a long game. That's the thing you learn. When you've been in the NBA for a while, there's time for so many swings in the game itself, and especially these days. So many 3-point shots taken, a lot of possessions, and so. Our guys know that. They've been through it, and so when we were down, we knew we could get back in it, and again, the defense is what allowed us to do that.
John Dickinson, 95-7 the game in San Francisco. Steve, you mentioned Draymond, but just the relentless pressure of both ends. I mean, he was getting the ball and just pushing it. Do you feel that constant push has worn the Blazers down maybe as the series has gone on?
Well, I don't know about that, but it set a tone for tonight's game. You know, he was doing it in the first half, which allowed us to kind of hang around when we weren't playing well. And then he did it throughout the second half. And, you know, when he's coming downhill like that, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense in the paint at the rim, and then you've got shooters on the perimeter, and he's a great passer. And so he's got a lot of options. And what I liked tonight was, you know, he only had 2 turnovers with all that, made great decisions all night. So it's one of the best games I've ever seen Draymond play.
Steve Metchnam, Barrier News Group. What went into the decision to start Damian, and after he picked up a couple of quick fouls, what did you like out of Kevon and Jordan tonight?
Well, we liked Damian's size and athleticism, and so we wanted to start the game with a little more, you know, a little more verticality at the rim and ability to cover ground from our big guy. It's a lot to throw on his plate at this point. He hasn't played in 4 or 5 months. I probably threw him out there a little too soon, but it's a good experience for him too. But he picked up the early fouls, and then, you know, with what Portland did, they made some nice adjustments. And the way they played was a better matchup for Jordan Bell, and Jordan came in and played extremely well.
Hey, Steve, what was going on with Andre Iguodala in this game? Injury?
He was sore. I think lower leg. He just had some soreness. And he's going to get an MRI tomorrow. So we didn't want to risk anything and put him back in the game. So when we took him out mid-third, trainer said that'll be it for him. So we'll know more tomorrow.
Anthony Slater with The Athletic. You're plus 55 in the second half of the series. How much do you think, kind of, you know, the way your minutes distribution in the series is going, how much do you feel like you guys maybe have the fresher legs in the second half?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Plus 55 in the second half.
Plus 35?
55 in the second half in this series.
In the second half, yeah.
You just, I mean, you're giving spread minutes all around. Do you think you guys have the fresher legs?
I don't know about that. I just think that our bench is giving us great minutes, and that's been really key for us. You know, even on the road in a game when we were down 18 points, none of our starters played 40 minutes in a playoff game. So I mentioned the contributions off the bench and the number of contributions, the number of players who came in and contributed. I think that's a real key. We can keep the game moving and really, you know, gain traction in the game when those guys are out on the floor. That fourth quarter run was really key for us.
It's Steve Mark, Medina Bay Area News Group. Obviously, Draymond has had a lot of games like this in his career, but do you think this is his best stretch of games of his career?
He's done so much here. It's hard to look back and say what's his best stretch. I just know he's playing unbelievably well right now. He's playing with force. He's playing with discipline. He's playing under control. He's not letting anything bother him. You know, officiating. You know, bad shots, turnovers. He's just moving on to the next play. So from that standpoint, it's as good as he's ever been.
It's White, NBC Sports Bay Area. What's been the key to kind of maintaining discipline and pressure defensively against Lillard and McCollum in this series?
Well, they put so much pressure on us, and I'm not sure we were that disciplined tonight. We jumped at, I think, 3-point shots where they drew fouls, so we gave them 9 free throws. But we're just trying to put. They're amazing scorers, and you can't stop them with one guy. So we're just trying to have a lot of help defense available, and you know, send fresh bodies in there and do the best job we can.
Colin Ward Henninger, CBSSports.com. Because of the way you guys play, your pace, you score a lot of points, you shoot a lot of threes, and kind of the soft-spoken nature of most of your stars, Draymond.
Most of them.
Most of them. Do you think that the toughness of this team has been underrated over this run that you've had?
Maybe it's just not highlighted, but it's so hard to win a championship in this league. The competition is so fierce, and it's a 2-month journey once the playoffs start. And they've been to the finals 4 times, so that tells you all you need to know about their toughness and their competitive desire.
Steve, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. With Kevin Durant out, everybody's called on to do more. But in Draymond's case, does Kevin's absence affect him, especially in the way that he's able to initiate, to run down the floor the way he was doing tonight?
I think the biggest thing is he has the ball in his hands a lot more. With Kevin out, it's a guy who was averaging 34, 35 points a game in the playoffs when he went out. I think the best player in the NBA right now, Kevin Durant, and so Kevin obviously is going to have the ball in his hands an awful lot. So he goes down, and all of a sudden that changes the responsibility of a few different players. It provides more opportunities for the bench, but it puts the ball in Draymond's hands a lot more. So you can look up the usage rate on one of those websites and figure it out. Ethan probably knows.
Steve, Jeffrey Ziano with the Oregonian. Steph really took over early in the fourth quarter. Did you get a sense that maybe he sensed that this was an opportunity to really kind of put them away in this game, in this third game?
I think we all sensed that. We've been down this road before many times. We've been up 2-0 quite a bit, and I don't think we've been that great in game threes over the years. And that's all we talked about the last 2 days was we have an amazing opportunity to seize control here. And so I think that's what this was about, was respecting our opponent, knowing the magical run they've been on, how tough they are to beat in this building, and understanding that this is the game. You come up here for 2. The first one is the one you want to get, because if you don't get the first one, the second one becomes much more difficult. So I think our guys understood the sense of urgency and played that way, especially in the second half.
Last question, Steve, following up on that, Nick Friedel, ESPN. When you talk to your team now, up 3-0, if you guys win Monday, I believe you have 9 full days of rest. How much of a point of emphasis will you make that to the rest of the group, knowing what's on the line in Game 4?
We won't talk about anything other than Game 4. What's after that doesn't matter. It may be Game 5. What's after that might be Game 6. So we just focus on the next game ahead of us, and we've got some guys banged up, but we've done a really good job. I'm really proud of this group for playing through a number of injuries that we've had. With Kevin and DeMarcus and now Andre. It's a remarkable group to continue to press and play at this level without so many key guys. So very proud of them. Thanks.
A couple of those questions touched on maybe some misperceptions about the Golden State Warriors based on where they were a few years ago. That they take a lot of threes, for instance. They only took 26 tonight, which is not a ton for an NBA team. And that they're not as tough as, or they're tougher than people maybe think they are. This was a tough effort in terms of who was on the floor, what they were getting done. Already without Durant, Iguodala not available for much of the night, and they were able to come back from double digits down at halftime and blow the Blazers away essentially in the second half.
Don't forget to mention Cousins hasn't been around either.
Sure, yeah.
Another one of the starters. You're down Cousins, you're down Durant, 2-time MVP in the finals, and now Iguodala gets hurt during the course of the game. This team we associate toughness with banging and beating people up and the physicality part of it. And this team is so tough here mentally that They understand who they are. They know what they're capable of doing. It starts at the defensive end. They'll all tell you that. And they're covering for a couple guys that are out there that aren't the greatest defenders, but they do a lot of other things.
This was a character win. This shows the character that's in that locker room. There's no KD, and we learned that in the Houston series. They're not going to make excuses. They go into this series, they go ahead and they take care of business. Now this win, they're still depending on a lot of guys on the bench. Iguodala doesn't play for a large part of this game. Nobody makes any excuses. Nobody hangs their head. Nobody gets down on themselves, even though in these last 2 games they've been down by double digits in the second half. They come out, they take care of their business, and they systematically take you apart. This goal is to a certain degree. I think we forgot what they were before Kevin Durant got there, and we've taken Steph Curry and this backcourt and Draymond Green and a lot of these guys for granted. And now they're showing us, hey, y'all forgot. We will remind you what we were.
Czar, hold that thought. We'll get to Terry Stotts in Portland.
Our offense fell apart. You know, we missed some shots, took some tough shots, didn't move the ball as well. They were scoring, so we were taking it out of the net, didn't get any transition. So said at the beginning of the series, to beat Golden State, you got to be able to score. And, you know, scoring 33 in the second half is not going to do it.
ESPN, Terry, why has it been so difficult for Dame to get going in this series offensively?
I think the double teams, obviously the trapping is designed to get the ball out of his hands so he doesn't have the same freedom. I think they're good one-on-one defenders. You know, some of it's missing shots. You know, he gets to the rim, he hasn't finished around the rim as well. But I don't know if it's one thing. You know, obviously their defense is part of it. Missing some shots, getting them some easier shots is tough.
In the back on the left, please.
Jamie Goldberg from the Oregonian. You made the decision to start Myers Leonard. Why did you make that decision, and what do you think he gave you in this game?
He had a terrific first half, like the rest of the team. I liked his spacing. I liked the way he played in Game 2 in Golden State. You know, he can space the floor, and he and Dame, he and CJ have a good 2-man game, and you know, obviously is designed to help our offense a little bit. So it looked really good in the first half, not so much the second half, but that wasn't his fault.
Bach, ABC 7 Sports. Steve Kerr described Draymond Green tonight as a wrecking ball. How would you describe him?
He was the difference maker. What he did, he kept them going even though we had a lead in the first half. His energy, the way he was pushing the ball, kept them going. And you know, he has such an impact on the game on both ends. You know, offensively with his passing, his playmaking, he makes his teammates better, and defensively he's all over the place. He impacted the game. He was obviously he's the player of the game tonight. He impacted the game.
Terry, Tom Ward, Coin TV. Now that you're one game from elimination and you guys have exceeded everyone's expectations for this postseason run, what do you say to your team tomorrow to try to, because you guys have won 2 games in a row in the last series, including on Denver's home floor. So what do you say to your team to get them to maybe believe that this can be possible?
We're going to give it our best effort on Monday. I mean, that's all that matters, is we give it our best effort. We give it everything we have on Monday, and whatever happens, happens. But that's having the pride and the professionalism to give it the best effort and get a home win, and then go from there. There's no. I don't know if it's as much about strategy as about just rallying around and giving it the best effort possible.
Marcus White, NBC Sports Bay Area. What kind of boost did you get from your bench early in the second quarter, and then what did you see different from the Warriors bench in the second half?
The first half everybody contributed. The starters, the bench, with different combinations really worked well. You know, if you score 66 points in a half, a lot of people contributed that. Second half, it was just a struggle. I don't know how much it was their bench. You know, they're a championship team. They've been a championship team, and they have a style of play, and they continue to play at a certain level. And the second half, we just didn't match that. Whether it was their bench players or their starters, they just they didn't miss a beat.
Questions for Coach?